Hey everyone, Tammy Saul, owner of Federal Hill Mortgage, here today in beautiful Baltimore City to bring you the big two that make this city unique. The small businesses and the quaint real estate. Both are unlike anything seen anywhere in the country. Now, something common in the city are residential properties where portions of buildings have been converted and then reconverted again into businesses. In fact, my own storefront here on the main Light Street Strip was a dilapidated comic book store in 2014 before we transformed it into the beautiful location you see here today. Another local business that underwent an even more remarkable transformation was a dry cleaner transformed into an upscale ice cream shop smack in the middle of the 2020 pandemic. Let's go take a look. Joined with me today is Barbara Maloney, owner of Be More Licks in Baltimore. So Barbara, tell us about Be More Licks. What makes it special?
Well, thanks for having us. We are one of the only homemade ice cream shops in Baltimore, and specifically in Fed Hill. We make everything on site here. We're one of the few places that we know of in the country that offers over 100 flavors of handmade soft serve to order.
You were able to open your business to begin with because you made such smart real estate investment decision years ago. Tell us about that.
Like we said, we really wanted to purchase, and this was a big purchase for us. So in order for us to be able to afford it, we had to sell a couple of properties. So 13 years ago in 2007, in the middle of the financial collapse, I had decided to purchase a small condo in Providence, and we had bought another small building a few years ago. And we decided to sell them last summer and fall, and those proceeds are what enabled us to put down a significant down payment to be able to afford the build out of this property. And for us, we were buying a building that had rental offset, so we did put a substantial amount down, but essentially our entire mortgage is covered by the 3 rental units upstairs. Even though we're opening in the middle of a pandemic, we feel like we're able to weather the storm because we didn't buy it with the intent of just being successful for the next 1 or 2 or 3 years. Our goal was to be here for the next 20 years, and having those rental income offsets are going to be able to give us staying power.
Wonderful. Thank you everyone for joining us. If you're ever in Baltimore, visit Be More Licks for the best homemade ice cream in town. Hey everyone, here with me today is Mitch Tolan Jr., the #1 Redfin agent in the Baltimore, Maryland region with over 120 transactions sold in the last 12 months alone. Thank you, Mitch, for being here. Tell us about this listing that we're standing in right now. What makes it different but also unique to Baltimore?
Yeah, this property is really unique in that it was built in 2005, unlike most of the townhomes and row homes you're going to find in Baltimore, which were built in the early 1900s. So you're going to get features such as a 2-car garage that you really wouldn't find elsewhere. This property does offer features such as a rooftop deck with views of the Chesapeake Bay and the city, which is incredibly gorgeous at night, and that's a really common and popular feature in Baltimore City.
How is real estate in Baltimore City specifically different than real estate in other parts of the state?
You know, block by block here can make a difference in terms of the home's value, and that's why it's really important to work with a lender that understands the city and the neighborhoods that you find here, because if you have an appraisal issue, the lender that's experienced will be able to step in and help guide you through the process to make sure you can still get to the finish line.
So when representing a buyer or a seller, and I know you represent both almost equally, what is at the top of your advice list?
Yeah, I always like to sit down with a buyer or seller initially and go through what I call a strategy session. So we're gonna cover the process from start to finish and go over, how I can assist them and get them through to the finish line. And the first thing I typically recommend is getting with a local lender, so that way you're pre-qualified beforehand, and when you find that dream home, you can make an offer very quickly, which is very important in a low inventory environment, because having to wait a few days after you find the home to get your pre-approval could cost you the property.
Thank you everybody for joining us today on this episode of Financing the American Dream. We hope you learned something. We hope you had some fun. We'll see you next time.